Hey, crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John, and I hope you all have had an amazing weekend. I will say mine has been, yesterday was way more busy than I would prefer, I think, for a weekend anymore, but yet had a good time. Today has been a lot of downtime, relaxing, trying to get caught up in that. And, it's just that time of year, right? It's spring, it's summer, it's getting into vacation season. Of course, I have a crazy job, anyways, and my job deals with people acting crazy sometimes. So I've had a lot of that to deal with in the last week or so. And I don't know, it's just been so much going on. But with that said, let's welcome in. Let's see who is in the chat tonight. So, Mr. Russ is here. May the fourth be with you, Mr. Russ. Hey, Brian, welcome in. Thanks for being on this afternoon. There's my friend from Tucson. Hey, Balloonist, welcome in. Russ says, and I hope tomorrow isn't Revenge of the Fifth, right? Oh my gosh, me too. I am not ready to go back to work. I can tell you these 2-day weekends just are not cutting it for me. Not sure what I can do about it, but really would really enjoy a longer weekend for sure. Jean's here, Barb's here. Hey, good afternoon. Jeannie's here. Let's see. Hey, Charlotte, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Stitcher's here. Hey, good afternoon, good evening. Dawn is here. Welcome. Thanks for being here this afternoon. So, just so much going on. It's funny because I just had a new employee start this week, and one of the benefits of our organization is after you've been with us about 90 days and get onboarded and all that fun stuff, if you like, you can actually choose to go on our alternate week schedule, which means you work 9 hours Monday through Thursday, 8 hours on Friday. The next week, though, you work 4 9s, then you're off on Friday. So it's really a nice deal. You get that every other Friday off. I had that deal 3 or 4 months after I joined the organization. And then when I decided to take the promotion into management, I found out managers aren't allowed to do that. We are required to work 5 days a week. So not sure the philosophy and reasoning behind that. It's just kind of one more thing that when you start moving up and around in ranks, there's no rewards, there's no real benefit. So I lost having every other Friday off. But for those that can have it, it's awesome. What else is going on? Yesterday was Derby, so happy post Derby. I hope if you are interested, watch the Derby, that you had a good time yesterday. I had a house full of folks yesterday, so we had some really good friends and neighbors and all that join us for Derby yesterday. I actually had several that didn't show up because they just weren't feeling well, and they've been dealing with other stuff, so they didn't make it yesterday. But those that did, we had a good time. I made pulled pork because, as part of the Derby tradition, is pulled pork sandwiches. So we had pulled barbecue pork yesterday. One of my neighbors brought coleslaw, homemade coleslaw, which was perfect because you have to have coleslaw on barbecue. If you're not one of those persons, I'm sorry you were not raised correctly. But yes, you have to have crisp, fresh coleslaw on barbecue, right? So I had that yesterday. Just had a good time. We got to try some mint juleps. I actually got my Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville maker out. We did frozen margaritas yesterday, along with a few other spirits. But had a good time. Cheered on a few horses. Russ will be happy because I finally, when you're hosting a Derby party, you have to be able to watch the Derby. And unfortunately, I don't subscribe to cable and I do not subscribe to Peacock. And of course, NBC is the one that has Derby. So I had to cough up $8 yesterday for Peacock for NBC for just a bit. We'll keep it this month. Unbeknownst to me, Wicked is part of that lineup that they have right now. So we are going to watch Wicked because I have never seen it. Unfortunately, I'll be watching it with commercials, but it is what it is. But because we wanted to look at it when it first came out, when it first came to streaming, it was like $30, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like it. I mean, I know Russ loves it, and I've got other friends that enjoy it and like it, but I have not seen it. So we will figure it out and see if we like it, and if so, we'll pursue that maybe a little further. But it is what it is. Hey, Katrina, thanks for being here this afternoon. There's Miss Sally. She says we're getting a bit of rain, and it's nice. I'm very happy that you got rain. I was shocked. You know, it's just funny how you don't think about, or at least I don't anymore, about things that go on in different parts of the country. So I turn on the Kentucky Derby yesterday and realize, yeah, it's pouring down rain. It's got a muddy track. It's just, unfortunately, it was not a pretty Derby day for them, which is sad, right? It's their one big event every year, and you'd like for them to have great weather, but knowing that they always do it the first Saturday of May, it's always a risk. You don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I just like, we had sunshine. Actually, it was warmer here yesterday than I expected. We've been mid upper 80s and really had just like picture perfect weather. And this week we had yesterday was 95, so a little bit warmer, and that was fine. We had the AC pumping and everything, so we had a good time. Who else is here? Mama Jan is here. Mama Jan was supposed to be at the party yesterday, but Mama Jan hasn't been feeling good, so we missed her, and so we need to catch up with her. Katrina's here. Good afternoon, Brian, Sally. Oh, Zaza's here. Hey, Zaza, welcome in. Thanks for jumping on this afternoon. Who else? Let's see. Am I missing? Oh, look. Luna says she made her own hat for Derby. How awesome is that? We actually had, so to encourage everyone to wear name tags yesterday, I actually had a scratch off ticket that you got. I think there was 20 tickets in a bundle, and two of those were winners. So we gave the two winners $5 um, lottery tickets. One won $10, and I think the other won 20. So just randomly picked just different scratch offs. I'm not a big scratcher usually, but we did that. Then we may have not placed monetary bets. I had a few jackpots, and I think those turned out to be like $18, $19 each. And then we actually had a hat contest, and I miscounted. It actually overbought um, the scratcher lottery tickets, so we ended up doing the top four for hats yesterday. But again, just had a good time in that. Now the chore is I have managed to get all the derby decorations on the dining room table, so now I've got all, 20 vases of roses and all that to get packed up in that until next year. So now I just have to go find a bin to put them in. I've got to find an empty bin. I know I've got one. Katrina says coleslaw and barbecue with hush puppies, a meal made in heaven. Amen. Yes, we didn't do hush puppies, but and honestly, I miss hush puppies. It's so funny. I love my air fryer, and I've managed to do a lot of things in the air fryer. Hush puppies is not one that I've even thought about, but I do miss a good hush puppy. I used to get some really good hush puppies down in South Carolina back in the day. Zaza says, even in Scotland, you need coleslaw with barbecue. See, there you go. Right? It's just not the same. Colleen's here. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for being in with us this afternoon. All right, so now I'm trying to read Russ, and he typed too much. I got to put glasses on. He says, "No one mourns the wicked. It's only part one, just so you know." Okay, see, 3 hours to me is just way too long for any movie because I need breaks in between. Um, so we'll just figure it out. So it's just kind of crazy. Who else? Oh, Brian says he saw it in theater and on Broadway, and he loved it. I'm anxious, and I'll be honest, I don't know the soundtrack, but I love musicals. I love, usually enjoy the soundtracks in that. So I'm anxious to see it. We just haven't done it. Actually, this week, so I'm a Hallmark fan. Y'all may or may not know that. Y'all may know that I occasionally watch Hallmark movies. I ended up breaking down and subscribing to Hallmark Plus, which has turned out to be probably the best thing. because I just finished The Chicken Sisters, and it is absolutely hilarious. It's drama. It's just everything with Southern fried chicken attached to it. And so just finished that, and it's funny because Hallmark Channel just sent me an email today to let me know episode 6 is being released tonight of The Chicken Sisters, and I was like, I thought Chicken Sisters was over, so I went and looked and didn't realize Hallmark Channel itself is releasing an episode every week where they released all the episodes on Hallmark Plus for subscribers. So I've already seen all of those. So, but that was fun. And I don't know how I went from Wicked to Chicken Sisters, but you guys always seem to keep up and pay attention to what I'm doing. Billy said the rain has been missing us, so this is nice. Yeah, I tell you what, it's missed us quite a bit this year. We actually had a very dry winter here, which is kind of unusual. I don't mind it, but I know in the long run we kind of pay the price if we don't. Katrina said finished the t-shirt quilt and got it dropped off at the new long armor. My long armor for 9 years retired. I tell you what, long armors earn their keep in that. I just took one out and paid to have it quilted. My daughter needed one for a quick turnaround for the kindergarten teacher. We had talked about it, and I got the quilting done. I got the applique done. I got the top put together and got the applique on it and the custom embroidery on it to make it personalized, and that got all of that done. Ended up taking it down and paying someone to do the quilting for me, doing the long arming, just so I could get it done. And it's still sitting. I've got to finish the binding this week because it. I just need to get the binding on it and get it from Arizona to Virginia, so she can give it to her teacher by the end of the school year, which is like May 29th or something. So I've got a little time, but I do want to get that done. I will tell you, I have started following Pam on AccuQuilt and Chris, and decided to try to do binding and cut my bindings the way she does. I've only done one set so far her way, and I absolutely loved it. So I will continue to cut my bindings and that on the AccuQuilt now, and probably nest and put those together. I was just really, really surprised at how great that went together. So with that said, I've got that one quilt I have to get done. I've got to get that done tonight. I'm just going to work on Easter stuff still. I have been practicing on these, trying to get these knocked out and finished so I can just have a chance to practice my binding before I do one as a gift. It's worked out really well. Interesting enough, one of my friends yesterday at the party was telling me that they're thinking about buying a new sewing machine. They didn't realize I had purchased Hercules back here. And so we came in here and we were talking about binding. And she goes, you know, you need to put your walking foot on your Juki when you're doing bindings and how much better the walking foot is. Okay, so I understand technically what a walking foot is. I will say I own walking feet for every one of my machines, even the Berninas. I've never put one on any of my machines. And it does amaze me how I've got to take screws and things apart to put a walking foot on. I think Juki could have made that a little bit easier if they wanted to, but it just shows some man probably designed it who never had to change the foot. But we won't go there. Um, Anyways, I ended up putting the walking foot on, and since I already had it kind of torn apart, I put a new needle and all that in. I've done two bindings, and I have been amazed at what the difference is in using a walking foot. So John is learning all about using a walking foot, and it seems to be working well for him. Sally says Katrina was making the t-shirt quilt hard. A friend asked me to possibly make one. Yeah, I've got a friend that actually that's how she makes some money on the side as she does t-shirt quilts, and she's like, she gets so tired of doing them, but she makes really good money because she charges a bundle to do them, and she does beautiful work. Period. But it'll be interesting. So, Sally, we'll be interested to know if you decide to do a t-shirt quilt, what your thoughts are. Eugene says, my brother-in-law's was challenging because all of his shirts were different size illustrations. The one shirts were stabilized. They weren't that hard to work with. Hey, Danielle is in the house. What is up with her? I haven't seen her forever. Just got done with recording my first episode of my new Quilt As You Go series. I tell you what, that's the busiest woman I have ever been around. And she, if you are hopefully seeing captions tonight, if you have captions on, it's because of someone like Danielle who helps support all the different channels. And I was able to Zoom with her and get my settings corrected. So hopefully tonight you're not seeing mid-roll ads during the live and you are seeing closed captions. Zaza says, Brian the Musical is brilliant. I saw the West End show. Y'all just busy, busy. Sally says, no desire to see it. I think it's been so uh, overhyped, it turned me off. Yeah, I get that too. Um, Danielle, hello from PA. Look at that sweet granny. Thanks for popping in this afternoon. I am actually, and just so you know, sweet granny, occasionally I do so, but so far all I've done is yak tonight. Trini says it's like a time Sally. I would do it for him, but I wouldn't do it for anyone else. I will tell you, Dave's Craft Room did not what I would consider a t-shirt quilt, but did the TV series quilt a few years ago, and I would love to do that. But I'll be honest, I just don't know if that the patience to work on the same quilt forever and ever like he did. But we'll see. I'm learning that I can do different things and work on different projects, and that they all finish at different times. One of the things I want to do in the next week or so is a video around all my works in progress because I have way more whips that need to get on a long arm somewhere, and we will get that figured out too. Oh my gosh, BBMK is here. Oh, and she says, late but here, just started to rain. So it's raining down in Phoenix on her. Look at that. And we have beautiful sunshine out here. So I doubt this side of town is going to see any rain, but you never know. It's just kind of crazy the way rains are in this area. Oh, Sally said it's for a dear friend who lost her hubby until so using his shirts. Yeah, it was so sad. My neighbor across the street, which are just such an amazing couple, she called me Wednesday, Thursday. Her 94-year-old mother had had a stroke, and they had to put her in the. They actually put her in hospice, and so she said, She said, I'm sending the husband with meatballs, coleslaw, and all that, but I won't be there because I got to fly back to see what happens with mom. She ended up flying out Friday. She got there, and mom lived like 2 hours after she got to her. So she passed this weekend, and then he came over to the party yesterday, and we're talking, and he goes, they had just called I guess it was his sister-in-law just called and said his brother is in pretty bad shape. So he said we may be going back to Cincinnati for several funerals. So it does just all happen at one time. So sad. Judy says hello from Oroville, California, Northern California. It's about 82 today. See, you all, I have no desire to live in California. I lie. I have a desire. Just know I would never be able to afford California. California is just such a diverse state, right? I was watching stuff on Palm Springs the other day on the lottery millionaire guy that runs around and helps them find homes. He was in Palm Springs. I had no idea that Palm Springs had Marilyn Monroe statues and all that. I've just always wanted to go because of the Rat Pack. But then when you get up in Northern California, especially in the summertime, I mean, some days it's like cold up there. I mean, it's just crazy. And then you go over to San Francisco and get on the bay in that. In July, it can be cold. I mean, it's just, it's such a diverse state for many reasons, but um, California is a beautiful state. I just know I could never afford it. Crazy. So as I said, it's been dry here. It was in the 70s, which is very high for April. All the rivers are normally really high at this time of year, but the water levels are low. Tell you what, I think seems like that's been the consistent theme across the country this year, except in North Carolina. Um, let's see. Oh, look, Beluna says she's never used a walking foot. So, see, I don't feel bad. I've only been doing this a couple of years. So, I will say it really did seem to make a difference in that. I'm still kind of getting used to it. Um, I definitely miss the speed. That's one of the things I love about my Juki, right? So, you got to slow down using the walking foot. But yeah, it is what it is. If it's doing the right things, that would make sense. Danielle, of course, says I use my walking foot when quilting my quilts on the domestic machine. That's when I remember to change it. See? I'm in Southern California near Palm Springs. We have rain and cool was almost 80. I didn't realize um, you were close to Palm Springs, Sally. Even better because maybe we can make a little shortcut as we're coming out to Road to California in January. So as I said, I love the differential feet on my machine. It's like a permanent walking foot. Yep, I had that on the Berninas when I used them, and I've got it actually on my big Viking Husqvarna, but I only use that for embroidery anymore. Mama Jan says, if you give me $1 million, I'm never doing a t-shirt quilt. We all have our price though. Oh, Sally's gonna make her a jobbed t-shirt. How cool would that be? Because you were at American for so many years and that I bet you have a lot of different logoed stuff that really could be a fun, even if it was just a wall hanging, right? Kind of be like your own retirement present to you. Katrina says, it's funny when I called the shop, they told me they subcontracted t-shirt quilts and gave me the number. I called the lady and she said, you have the quilt made? I said, yes. She laughed, take it in. Hey, Carl, thanks for being here this afternoon. I appreciate you joining us. I have not got to see my friend Carl since New Year's Eve. Mm. Hey, Candace, thanks for being here this afternoon. So, the only other thing I've got to get done for my daughter is she wanted a tote bag for the first grade teacher. I found exactly the perfect tote bag for her. It's all in the blue and golds. And again, the school theme is bees. So I wanted something that had bees and sunflowers in that. Found this bag, ended up buying the kit. Of course, I had to have it shipped in from New York. It was the only shop that still had this kit. Started working on it today, realized that I cut one of the pieces wrong. So I had to go up to the quilt shop here. Actually found, I think, a piece that blends in with all the other fabrics because I was so proud. It was directional fabric, and I knew I needed to go 18 this way and 15 this way. And I ended up cutting the stupid thing 15 by 15. I don't know why. So it's not like I could just zip on 3 inches again to make it look right. So that didn't happen. So ended up finding something. I ended up getting all of it cut, got stabilizers cut, got everything. It's got tons of applique that go on it. So I started on Hercules tonight with this one and decided let me practice doing the applique on this one of my monthly ones because I've not really got to do applique on there yet. You learning how to use the different stitches and that, and then realize, yeah, this is way too stressful to try to get this done, figure out how to assemble the tote, applique the tote, use the soft and stable, use all the Pellon and everything else, and get it done by next weekend so I can put it in a UPS box and get that and the quilt and everything to Virginia. So I am probably going to hit one of my quilting buddies up and see if I can't just pay them to do it. So I know it gets done. It's right because with trying to work 5 days a week and then do something like this at the last minute, it's just too hard. I was able to do the quilt because conceptually I get that right a whole lot better, but trying to do this one just is not working for me. Oh, Sally said not from AA. It was from when I worked at the local bowling alley. They had shirts made, so I didn't ruin my regular ones. I bet those are really cool. Growing up, our local bowling alley was the Tin Pin, and I always thought that was neat. I was on a bowling league in middle school, and then again I stayed on through high school. So I was never that great. My average was like 220, I think. Now I'm lucky if I can. I'm just happy if I break 100 anymore. But I always enjoyed bowling. I kind of miss it. We go up every so often here because we're lucky. We do have our own place here. And actually, last summer, so now 2 summers ago, they replaced all the ball returns, put all new lanes. They totally revised and updated our bowling alley, so which was pretty nice. All right, I am going to try to sew while we are talking tonight. Judy says, I've been lurking in the background. I enjoy making extra money making t-shirt quilts. I have a client that wants 5 throw size. Yeah, it's funny. My daughter, um, who really never does ask for much when it comes to my quilting, crafting, and that, mentioned how nice it would be to have that for her husband. He's got a lot of quilts and that, or not quilts, but t-shirts that she would really like to do something with. And I was like, yeah, get those together, and after you get those together, then we'll talk about what needs to happen. So fortunately, she has not even started looking for those and putting those together. So I'm off the hook for a little while, but I'm sure that's coming back at some point in time. All right, I need to change this thread while we're sitting here chatting so I can get this going. I will say I have switched over to all glide thread for Jake here, and Jake seems to be much happier than when I was using Aurifil. I know for some of my quilting friends that just gave them um, shivers. But I have learned that I use what I like and what the machine likes. And Jake here likes glide polyester thread, and I hardly ever have an issue with it with him. And so Orofill is just too linty. It drives me nuts. I don't think he liked it, and so therefore we switched over to Glide, and I hardly ever have any issues or breakage or anything now that I've started um, using that type of thread. So I think we all find what works in our machines, and that's what makes sense. There we go. All right. Oh, Danielle's leaving. No. Family time. Have a good one. Thanks for being here, Danielle. So one of the things I did mean to do this weekend, if you noticed that on the channel, you may or may not have, I did post for the Holiday Quilting Bee. We'll be doing that on Memorial Day. Don't know where I'll be doing it from. Probably up at the park home is the plan. But I did get the posting in that activated. I had planned to do a video about that and did not get that done today. I actually took a nap today. I decided to do something for John, and John got tired, and John went and laid down for a little bit. I never do that. And but anyways, I thought it might make the rest of my week better. So I did take a short nap today. But I do plan on doing the sparkle stripes pattern. So if you want to do a follow along with Sparkle and Stripes, feel free to reach out and do that. The only thing I will tell you, I'm not crazy about this pattern, is that you have to have the star, and it gives you the pattern on the back to trace, and so you can cut out the star. So I cheated. So one of my friends actually has the star AccuQuilt. So I am cutting all of mine out with the AccuQuilt because I'm just going to be lazy. But that is the plan. That is going to be the quilt. I am going to do the star fabric in red and the star fabric in blue for that pattern. But I am not going to do after your comments last week, I realized that using the white, red, white, and blue may be a little much. So, but I am going to use this as the blue fabric, this as the red fabric. I am going to go with a solid white because I just actually bought like 3 bolts of Michael Miller white. In fact, I bought Michael Miller in several colors because I really do like Michael Miller, and it was easier just to buy it wholesale that way. So I will be doing that in white. And then I bought the gold is what I really struggled with more than anything, finding a gold that I liked. Um, that turned out to be a bigger challenge than I really thought it would have been, but that's okay. And but I'm anxious, so it will only be the second patriotic quilt I have ever done. The last one I did was for Veterans Day. So I still need to reach out to the Veterans Home because I do want to do some donations down there. I need to get some of these quilt tops done so I can take them down to the Veterans Home because I really like supporting our veterans, and this is an actual state home for the veterans. So some of these guys that are there don't have family, they don't have anyone, and they are right there in Phoenix. I think Tucson has one, Phoenix has one, and I think Flagstaff is the other one. So there's three across the state, and I like taking care of our veteran gals and men that served and made things possible for me. And so I will be getting that knocked out and getting that put together. But if you all want to join me, it will be 7 a.m. on Veteran or Memorial Day. We'll do 3 hours. At this point, I haven't lined up a guest, and I don't know if I'm going to. May just end up letting you all listen to me for a while. We will have some prizes as always. And if you it'll be just a good time for us to get back together and kind of get into the swing because it's hard because the first of the year there's really no holiday, and I'm hoping my noise canceling headphones microphone is making this not so loud because this walking foot is definitely louder than just the regular foot on here. So we'll see how that works out. But I look forward to being on, having some fun giveaways in that. And speaking of giveaways, if you would like the Stars and Stripes pattern, I have a few extra. I'm giving two of those away tonight. I will drop those in the mail to the winners. And if you want to put exclamation point pattern, PATTERN, in the chat. We'll do a random drawing in a few minutes. And if your name comes up, you just need to send me your address and I will drop one in the mail to you this week. So another way of getting a new free pattern, if you don't already have it, I did stop my subscription to Villa Rosa this year. I like Villa Rosa well enough. I don't have any issues with them. It was just because I just had so many, and it was like I kind of felt like they were a lot of the same over and over, and so because of that, I just dropped it. Um, and yeah, Judy recommended this pattern for Memorial Day, and I liked it, and so I grabbed it, and I actually had to order it. It was one I didn't have, so when I ordered it, I did, and just ended up giving out just ordering several, so that way we could have some giveaways during the week. I like having giveaways. Giveaways make life fun. So we'll see. I did. Oh man, what did you do? I must be out of bobbin. I did. I did read through the instructions, and like I said, I am trying to use AccuQuilt a whole lot more. And so, most all of that pattern, if you have the right AccuQuilt equipment, can be cut with your AccuQuilt. So that is my plan. Yes, I ran out of bobbin. So as Russ would say, he plays bobbin chicken and wins all the time. This machine doesn't tell me that it's out of bobbin. Um, for all the things I like about my Juki. The Juki just knows to push the needle up and down. It's kind of funny because it'll sit there and stitch all day without bobbing. It just drives me nuts. But anyways, it is what it is. I like everything else about my Jukis, and I am not leaving the Juki family. It took me forever to figure out what machine I liked. and what worked for me. All right, I pattern in the chat if you want to put that exclamation point pattern, and we will give 2 winners away. My email is scrolling down at the bottom, so if you are a winner tonight, just simply send me a email with your name and address, and I will get that out to you. Let me get this side stitched and get this one side put on, and then we will draw for the winner. So hope you all are ready for a big week ahead. Mine is we have a team activity Tuesday. So tomorrow I'll get to work from home because I got to be in the office Tuesday, which is usually the day I like to work from home. But we're having a team activity where we're going taking our team to one of the local cooking schools, and we're cooking a some type of Mexican lunch. And so we'll all get to partake in putting the lunch together, and then have um, eat together, and then be done for the day on Tuesday. So it'll be fun, be different. So we try to do a team activity once a quarter. This ends up being the first team activity for the year, but I tell you what, it just seems like everything's gotten so busy and has just happened so fast anymore. It's just crazy. So how much is going on? How much is happening? It's like, I want to do a video on my works in progress. I want to do a video on the retreat for New Year's Eve and talk about that really in some detail. I want to do a video on the holiday quilting bee. It's like, wow, dude, I mean, like, how am I there's just not enough hours in the day anymore. And then I try to watch, right? Like keep up with what's going on Russ's channel and Danielle's channel and Stephanie's channel. And like, wow, guys, I mean, there's just so much out there. But I will say, I did make time for the Chicken Sisters. So if you all want to watch something quite different, it's just fun. And it had the one star in it, and I can never remember her name from she was in Mamma Mia in that. She was one of the 2 friends with Meryl Streep in that, and I always loved her. She was on The Good Wife too. I think was one of the other shows she was on, and I always enjoy watching her and hearing her play Southern and country. Was a lot of fun. All right, so let's jump over and see what Nightbot gives for the winner tonight. All right, so we'll pick 2 winners. So the first one is, hey, Candace is a winner tonight. So Candace, if you'll send me your address, I will get that dropped in the mail to you. And let's choose one more. And Miss Charlotte, look at you. If you will send me your address as well, we will get the pattern out to you. So Charlotte and Candace, both winners tonight. So congrats. Thanks for playing. So we'll try to do that a little bit more. I would like to find a few more giveaways during the lives and that. See, I just like giving things away. Some point we probably have to start giving quilt kits away because Lord knows John's got them stacked everywhere. It was funny. One of my friends goes, I went into that room and I said, you talking about the cutting room? And she goes, yeah, like how many rooms do you have for quilting? And I said, well, I have the YouTube studio, and then I have the long arm room, and then I have the cutting room. And she's like, but you have like 12 bins of quilt kits in that. Like, yeah, I have 12 bins of quilt kits. I have another bin that I have started for the New Year's Eve retreat. I have another bin that I've started for works in progress. But then I bought a laundry basket that I actually put others in. So I have some that are on the shelf here that are cut and ready to go. I have others over in the long arm room that are ready for that long arm. And then any of them that are like table runners and things like that, I actually have in because that's where I have the sit down long arm. So it's like, just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's just crazy. So, but we'll get there. So, it is what I enjoy. It is my hobby. Although I will say my special friend went up today to the garden and brought me back my first bell pepper. I was so excited. So we got a green pepper off the vines. So that's our first one. Wasn't the best looking one. It looks like it had a little hard time growing. Wasn't a beautiful shaped round one, but it is fresh and it is just picked off the vine, which was kind of cool. And I got about 10 tomatoes, but they almost are like Roma tomatoes. They're called early girls, but they're only about that big, right? So I was really kind of surprised. I would have thought they were bigger than that. But these are nice and red. And we actually had them on hamburgers for lunch today, which was kind of cool. So, hey, hopefully you can see the email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If not, it is John, John, at guyscraft2.com. So, John at guyscraft2. And so we have fresh tomatoes on the, actually, we had fresh tomatoes, fresh onions on our cheeseburgers today. So that was kind of fun. So it's kind of cool that not the and it actually was funny to have a tomato that tastes like a tomato. So I know Mama Jan thinks she's going to be getting some vegetables soon. So she probably will because we spoil her because she is just that type of person that you want to spoil because she is such an amazing friend and has been just there for us for so many reasons. So as the produce starts coming in, I am sure some of that is going to make its way over to her house. So we will definitely be taking care of Mama Jan. Mama Jan apparently makes an amazing spaghetti sauce. I would know. We haven't had Mama Jan's spaghetti sauce yet, but I have a feeling if we get enough ripe tomatoes, that might be something fun um, to do when we when we are putting things together. So we will see. You just never know. Oh, I tell you what, it is so funny. I am so fortunate to have the friends and the relationships I do, and I appreciate every one of them. Some of them you never know what they're going to say or do, but you know what? That's what makes them all special. Right. The only thing I don't like about my walking foot is because of the way it's designed, right? I can't look in the back to see what I just did, but that's okay. Again, that's why I've got these placemats that I'm working on. And do you all have all the threads? I get so tired of all these loose threads. And it was so funny. And I am really bad because I just throw them on the floor because I don't care. There's only two of us that vacuum this house, and when we vacuum the house, we clean them up, and that's okay. I get trying to just keep my floors pristine just doesn't make sense. Doesn't work for me, so I just put them on the floor, knowing that next time I sweep, I'm going to be sweeping up a lot of miscellaneous threads. But I'm good with that. I just never know. Let me look at my list. I actually make a list because I think of things during the week that I want to talk about, and then I forget because I get on here and get my mouth going, and I just never know. And yes, Russ is right. I should smack him silly. He's so bad. Russ is that friend sometimes. Whoops. There's Mary from Florida. Thanks for being here. Or Mary's on tonight. Thanks for being here. Russ is so bad. Sally says, fresh tomatoes and onions. When I was in Texas, a friend would share her garden. That is our plan. Our plan is to share. Oh, Kevin Mark says, I just planted tomatoes, herbs, and peppers Friday. We had to wait until all signs of frost were gone. I get that. Unfortunately, all of my herbs died because I do have a nice big garden spot with tons and tons of stuff. And then we bought a different planter that just do herbs out in the screened-in porch. Unfortunately, they didn't come with automatic waterers, and between the two of us, we couldn't remember to go out every night and water things, so they ended up dying. So all of my herbs are now dead, which would have been nice to have herbs because I forgot to buy fresh mint for my mint juleps yesterday, and we didn't have fresh mint for the mint juleps because all of mine died, and I didn't think of running to the grocery or ordering any from Walmart when I did my grocery order. So it was fine. No one seemed to complain, and everyone seemed to get just enough of whatever was offered. Um, but I do miss having fresh herbs. I love to be able to go out and pick rosemary, go out and pick some thyme, go out and basil, especially. I worked with a friend years ago, and she said she had a health food friend that was kind of a health food fanatic, and they were talking about basil one day, and she about the benefits of eating fresh basil, and that she really liked the flavor in that, but just you could only make so much pasta or blah blah blah. And her friend said, "I use basil like I use spinach." So if I would put spinach or lettuce on a sandwich, I put basil in. If I would put, spinach or lettuce in a salad, I put basil in. And so there for a while, I used to eat a lot of basil because I really do like the flavor. And I was really kind of surprised at how how it does lend itself to so many different like applications. And so I did do that for quite a while. I haven't done that for a while, but hopefully, my little friend will figure out the um, garden on the porch, and we will get do a better job getting that put back together. So now Russ is blaming Carl for being bad. See, I don't think it's Carl though. I met Carl. Carl was such a super nice guy, and we need to figure out how to get together sometime and do some quilting together. But you just never know. So I will say, and I'll tell you something too, interesting. So one of my other friends just texted me to say, I wanted to say thank you so much for the derby party yesterday and hosting and what a good time I had. It's so funny. And it must be generational, right? But almost everyone that showed up for the party yesterday has texted me to say thanks and they appreciate all we did and decorating the house and that. And it's just nice when people make you feel appreciated. Mama Jan says we could make sauce together at some point. That could be fun, fun, fun. Anything that you do with Mama Jan is fun. Jan is always a good time. BBMK says Johnny seeds are supposed to be really good and easy to grow. Also organic if it makes a difference. It doesn't make a difference for me because I don't worry about organic because at the end of the day, we know what we're putting in our soil and in our vegetables and that. I'm not really good. I'm definitely not doing whatever it is when you crossbreed all the different um, stuff now. To me, a watermelon's supposed to have seeds for a reason. So I'm not into all that kind of stuff. But I will make a note and we will definitely look at Johnny's seeds. Oh, Kevmar says Mary says we used to have an arrow garden in the kitchen and we had fresh herbs all year long. I have looked at those. Every time Amazon has a sale, Prime Days and that, I look at those and then I realize how much they are. And I'm like, do I really want to spend that? But I really would. I have bought basil, I think like 6 times from, like the grocery store and whatever, and it dies in 2 weeks. I'm like, how is it possible that I bring that home and it dies that quick? I don't know if I overwater it, don't over, I don't know, but for some reason I just can't grow basil in that. But I have looked at one of those arrow gardens and just really wondered if they're worth the price in that. So I appreciate that feedback. Becky, you're never late. You're always on time. You just may happen to be on Becky time today, and that works too. So, and I tell you what, we've all got such crazy schedules anymore. And when you look at all of us on the weekends, I saw Ian was doing some crazy things the last few days. Russ has sent me some pictures of gorgeous quilts that he's just put together. I will be anxious when I get the binding on the kindergarten teacher's quilt. I will get that posted and show you all, hopefully before I send it off. It really did turn out cute. I had it long armed with a bee and a little flower. So even the long arming is that way. Cut it out of I cut the applique out of the AccuQuilt. So I cut the beehive out. I cut the two bees out, put the kid's name and years that she had them on each bee. So I think the teacher's going to be really thrilled. She told my daughter the other day, she said, "I'm really sad that, you only had the two children because, she said, I'd love to have more of your children." And I said, "See, right there, I told you that you should have more kids." And my daughter goes, "I'm not speaking to either one of you right now." It's like, whatever. It would have been fun. I only have four grandchildren. Just think, I could have had 8 or 10. So, but apparently not from her. She's only got the two, and my son had two, and I think that's all I'm getting, and that's fine. I only had two as well. So, see what nowadays I don't envy them. I would absolutely not want to raise kids today. Um, just it's just not a nice world anymore, and that's why I love living where I do. Um, I like to call it Mayberry sometimes. It is really kind of very Andy Griff, and that's fine. Um, I don't need wild and crazy. I deal with wild and crazy all week at work. And somebody asked me at work, goes, I can't believe you drive that far every day to work. And I'm like, yeah, the traffic does get old. I will admit. Um, it was much better when I was just a regular individual contributor and I only had to go to the office 2 days a week. And then I had the flex schedule, right? So I was off every other Friday. So it does give you a much better quality of life. But at the end of the day, I am so happy when I get out here and just had such a good time yesterday with my friends and neighbors and just such great people and we just laughed and talked and we didn't get into politics, we didn't get into all the craziness of the world. We just had a good time. So I think it's we all need that downtime and we need those relationships and good relationships are hard to find anymore. And seems like everyone has a hidden agenda or something, and it's like, I don't have time for that. And you know what? If you're drama, I certainly do not need you in my life. And I think that's why I like Carl so much. When I met Carl on New Year's Eve, Carl is not a drama guy. He is just perfect. And he was a lot of fun to be with. He actually won, I think it was Veterans Day, or it may have been Christmas, but he won the Tula Pink Red collection. I think it was Unicorn collection. That was one of the giveaways, and he won that because he actually did let me save a little bit of shipping because I actually took it to him down in Stitch in Heaven when I went down for the um, New Year's Eve retreat there last year. So instead of going to their retreat, I decided I want to do a Guys Craft 2 retreat. And so that's the plan. But now we'll have to figure out how to get Carl across the country and out here sometime for one of the retreats here in Arizona. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe he retired or is retiring soon. So he's got some flexibility. And it's fun to get to meet you guys, right? Because it's so funny because I feel like I know everybody so well because we talk on the channel, and I run my mouth, and you all chat, and then you all were talking about other things going on. Like, see today, I don't see Joydy. I didn't see Joydy jump in today, so I don't know where she's been. But I did see her on someone else's channel earlier today, so I know she's on and off, and again, there's so many and so much going on. I know it gets tough, but like to get to meet Sally next year for Road to California. I got to meet a few folks this year at QuiltCon here. I really wish QuiltCon would get off their duff and announce 27 because I'm hoping they're back here because I had a lot more fun at QuiltCon than I anticipated, and I will definitely do longer at QuiltCon. But I'll be honest, just getting across back and forth across the country anymore is just gotten so expensive and so such a wear and tear. I mean, just after coming back from Easter and dealing with that, and then I ended up with bronchitis and just all of that. It was just crazy. So, you just don't know anymore. And I don't think they're taking care of the planes like they were. And I just finished paying off everything for the beach in June with the grandkids, which I can't wait for. But it's like, oh my God, I got to go back. And then being American, changed my flight again. And so now my connection in Charlotte is literally 32 minutes. So when I land in Charlotte, they will already be boarding the flight to Myrtle Beach. I'm like, how? And then you mark on my itinerary that, I've got a quick gate change, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait, you realize that's the flight you picked because I did not pick a flight with that tight a connection. I'm too old, too fat to run, not going to run. Now I gotta figure that out and look at that again. It's always something. It's like, why do you all even bother letting us make reservations? Why don't you just have us give you a um, target time that we want to be somewhere, and you just tell me what you're going to book for me? Because they just keep changing things up, and it drives me nuts that they do that. So we'll see. We got that to deal with yet too. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to get on a soapbox. Hey, Stephanie, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. We already talked about you. You didn't even realize before you got here about how amazing Stephanie is. Oh, Carl said he's retiring in November. I thought so. I knew we talked about it, but I just for the life of me couldn't remember the date. So that is very exciting. I think I have about 8 more years after the government took a bunch of money from me in April. It could be 10 years. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to sweat it. I've got, life's too short, and I'm going to do what I can do and figure out what makes sense for John, and that's what we're going to do. Sally says, I'm so glad I'm retired. I didn't work at an airport, thank goodness, but people have gotten so rude. They have. It just amazes me. I mean, just going to the grocery and that. I mean, I'll be honest, since COVID and that, and since I've gotten out here, I had Walmart delivered. They come every Friday morning around 7. I have, who else? I have Sam's delivered because that's where I got my pulled pork in that. Now, we did go to Costco, and I have to go to Costco because Costco doesn't have an alternative. But I do want to go, I don't mind going there, but we'll only go there a couple of times a year because my go-to is Sam's and Walmart because I can order online and I save so much money now because I don't impulse buy. I already do enough impulse buying with fabric and patterns and that. And then if my impulse is not good enough, Russ usually texts or emails me to make sure that I didn't miss something. So, when you got friends like that, you don't have to worry about ever missing out on anything. So, but that's okay. We still love Russ. And I have yet to get to meet Russ in person. I got to meet Miss Stephanie when I met Carl, and she was down there with Andrew, the combat quilter. I got to meet him. I got to meet Ingrid, just a bunch of folks. And so it's really fun getting out to some of the retreats and that. I would love to get to a Stephanie retreat sometime. So we will figure that out because now that I'm trying to do some things independently, I know some of the best people to learn from, right? And Stephanie is just amazing in a lot of ways. So she's absolutely a good friend. So that is that. So look at this. I'm actually getting work done tonight. What's up with that, right? It had to happen sooner or later. So We will see how that goes. But guys, I am at an hour. I'm sorry. I just literally rattled on tonight. Um, Sally says each ATO was a minimum connection time. It's about 30 minutes of your at your connection city. Yeah, I think that's so crazy. Especially when you're talking about Charlotte and that and how spread out some of these airports are. But it is what it is. We will make it work. So, guys, I appreciate you being here. If you were one of the winners tonight, make sure you send me your address via email, John at Geiscraft2, and we will get those. I'll get those dropped in the mail to you this week. I do hope to get some other videos posted this week. I is just really lazy today. I was just tired after yesterday, and it is what it is. I am having chicken Japanese curry for dinner tonight, so no complaints there. So I always enjoy that I have someone that cooks for me on Sunday nights. I do the cooking usually during the week, but it's fun to have someone else do it for you on Sunday. So I hope you all have an amazing week ahead of you as always. And until next time, guys, happy crafting.